It is not about the thing that you think you need to do to please the Lord because He's pleased with you because you're here. It is about trusting what's on the inside of you to move forward.
Real champions know how to leap. Real champions know how to overcome. Real champions know how to move forward. Real champions have to go through those obstacles, those turns, those sharp turns. You can't be a champion and not know how to hit it. Right?
Every time I've trusted the Lord and allowed Him to lead my path, I've seen things that I was not asking for.
Hey, thank God for another day. Hey, I know we could be another way. Hey, pray, thank God for another day. Hey, I know we could be another way.
It's a new week at Jess Ask The Podcast, the safe space where transparency meets transformation. It's your girl, Jessica S. Smith, and I do nothing without my girl, Desiree.
Hey.
Desiree.
Hey.
Desiree.
Hi, Jessica.
Hey, Desiree.
Girl.
Listen.
Hey.
Jesus.
You already know. I'm excited
Listen.
I don't know what the Lord is about to do, but
when you carry the oil will. I mean,
you hear me?
The oil will try. They would try to reject the oil.
They'll try it.
In any form or fashion.
They'll try it.
Listen.
But guess what? I'm excited about this conversation today. Why? Because there's been a little opposition just as we try to get started here, but what the devil meant for evil, the Lord is turning it around for our good.
Amen to that.
So
Amen
how you doing, sis?
I'm good. I really feel like, when we record and we have opposition, I think our mission is to show people that in spite of, they should still go.
Yeah.
Like in spite of, you should still move.
Yep.
In spite of, you should still seek out the finish line.
Yeah.
Ooh, thank you, Lord.
That's good.
Thank you, Lord. You should still seek out the finish line. And I don't know who needed to hear that right now. We already in the beginning, but I don't know who has stopped seeking out the finish line because obstacles have come in the way. But real champions know how to leap.
Yeah.
Real champions know how to overcome. Real champions know how to move forward. Real champions have to go through those obstacles, those turns, those sharp turns. You can't be a champion and not know how to hit it. Right? But they look toward the mark. And that I think that's an important thing. And this person that we have here today understands how to look towards the mark. So I'm just telling y'all. I met this one through my spiritual mother.
Oh,
okay. That's weighty within itself because she don't hang with no soft people. Okay. I'm super excited because the woman we have here today has also seen me grow. Do not cry. She's seen me at different aspects of life, navigating, trying to grow, finding who I am. And to have her on today is just amazing. She really taught me what it looked like to be a servant leader as well. And we've had conversations on knowing when it's time to be number two, knowing when it's time to be number one, and still honoring God through all of it. And so I'm really excited to have a conversation about what the Lord wants to talk about. Now, the woman of God knows what she does. She's an entrepreneur, and she helps entrepreneurs, especially kingdom entrepreneurs, learn how to build courses so you can make a little change. Okay, so she might teach us a little bit today. All right, so I'm super excited to have our family, our love, Miss Danita Scott. Welcome, Danita.
Good morning. I am so grateful and excited to be here. This has been a dream come true. When you asked me to come on, I was like, me?
Yes, you.
I'm so excited, and I am so grateful to be able to have this honest and real conversation about life, love, Jesus, all the things.
All the things. Now, let me warn the people, Miss Danita, she oily. Like in real life.
Like for real.
So if she tap in and I get quiet, it's just because it's flowing. It's flowing. And we've done ministry together for about 5 what
About
was it?
seven,
Six,
6 years.
6 years. We've
Hmm.
been in ministry. Dog, it's been 6 years, Miss Danita.
It's been 6 years.
Can you
It
believe?
has
So I'm
been.
gonna give you the floor to say like what has those 6 years been like with you from your perspective with me, knowing that I wasn't as confident, and I just want to share that because people really think that I just came out the gate like this, like, and you're one to vouch for me. I kind of want to. I don't know why I want to start with that, but I want to start with that and let them like give your perspective on what you see now from what you saw then to what you see now.
So the thing is that even though you felt like you were not as bold as what you are now, you were bold enough to get in the car and drive an hour and a half, but 2 hours, and say, "I know you're supposed to be a part of my life." To Prophetess D. Fonby and say, "Hey, I'm here to serve." Who does that?
That was wild.
Like, I don't know people who just get in the car and just be like, "This is what I'm supposed to be doing with my time in my life right now," but I'm doing it. And right now, I'm also keeping my niece, who's really mad because Bluey's not on. So we're just gonna do real life right here.
It's real life lifing right now. So, and Danita and I are on the same boat. We're aunties of the year. We know how to be
Yes.
aunties, and I think our audience knows that. I've talked about Kendall's kids, and how they've been on here. Tristan was on here before, and all his kids were here, and they came on the mic, they came on the screen, and everything. I love kids, so we're good. But I think you bring up a valid point of understanding when you come into understanding of your confidence of something, right? Like how it shows up in different ways. I don't think that we look at other people and say, you know what, you're more confident because you're actually doing X, Y, and Z. You're in your purpose. But what I just heard you say is, no, you did it in the small things. You did it by like the leading of the Holy Spirit and trusting what you heard to go tell somebody, hey, I know you're supposed to be in my life. I don't know what it's supposed to be, but I know what I just heard, and I'm just trusting what I just heard.
Because confidence starts as a seed. It doesn't start as the full manifestation. So I'm sure when you got in the car, you had to have confidence. When you closed the door, you had to have confidence. When you drove up to the building, you had to have confidence. When you opened your mouth, you had to have confidence. So the confidence was being built from the time you heard from the Lord and crunked the car up. That's when the confidence started. It didn't start when everything started as far as ministry and support and being a number two and traveling all over the country. That is not when confidence started. Confidence started when you heard the voice of the Lord and you crunked the car up and said, "I will go," despite knowing how things were going to go. And along the way, you faced so many oppositions, correction, growth, all of these things. But look at where the Lord has taken you in just a short time for you continuing to follow the voice of God. And so many times we want the full manifestation without having to go through the trials, the tribulations, the bumps, the bruises, the corrections, the deep disappointments. All of that builds the person that you see in the future. So you see a preview and then you see the manifestation later, and it feels like, why did it take so long? This is the appropriate amount of time. You're exactly where you're supposed to be, exactly how you're supposed to be. And I'm so proud of all the work that you continue to do, because you could have given up, caved in, and quit a long time ago, but you didn't. You saw yourself as a leader in the entrepreneurial space, making safe spaces for other leaders. And that is a huge opportunity. And look at where it's taking you. Like, you've interviewed national guests, you've talked to national people. The future governor of Alabama can't wait to talk to you. That's all because you stayed faithful.
I think what you're saying is so powerful, Ms. Danita, and I this confidence word is there. I'm gonna go dig in. Desiree, you hear it? You hear it? This confidence word is there. So I wonder what your confidence journey has been. Like, have you always been bold? Like, 'cause Ms. Danita, you're bold. Like, and I think for me, what makes me appreciate you is like, you'll say stuff like, you'll pray heaven down and then say, I dance like I'm not a black girl. Like, you'll say that, and then you're just as fine. Like, you're just as cool, calm, and collected. And it's like, just the knowing of you digested yourself in a way to where you're unapologetically you. And I think a lot of us, especially us women, like, that thing tears us up if we are not comfortable in an area, because perfectionism, comparison, all that good stuff. So I wonder what your confidence journey has looked like and how you were able to get to the point where you are right now.
So one of the things that's absolutely true about confidence.
Hey,
Monetize.
sweetie.
One of the things that's absolutely true about confidence is that it shows up in the beginning as a seed, but it's manifested through action. So, for example, when I was a child, I was bold and I would say what I wanted. I did what I wanted. But then as I became an adult and other people told me who I should be, then I started to listen to their words and their perspective, their understanding, and what they had to offer. And it was never what God said. God never said any of those things. And so one of the things I have to do, hold on. Here we go. One of the things I have to do is I have to constantly tell my mind what to think and how to
Mm.
think, because it still comes up. The other day I was working on something and I'm in the middle of a prayer challenge with a group of women, and the enemy just said, "Oh, you're not smart enough to do this." And I was like, "Oh, that's not my thought. That's a lie." And so constantly going against, what's the constant lie in your life? When you are bold, the constant lie has to be you're not good enough. You're not smart enough, because it has to come up against what you believe and what is true about you. And so the very fact that those thoughts come up shows you how strong you actually are. They wouldn't come if you were weak in that area. The thoughts about, I never think about building a space station, because I have no confidence in that area, right? It never comes up because it's not something I've been assigned to do. But I do have thoughts against, oh, should I be speaking? Should I speak out? Because I've been assigned to do that. So the
Mm.
confidence has to be attacked on what I've been assigned to do, not what I'm not assigned to do. So the opportunity of the enemy is to tell you you can't when you absolutely can. It has to let you know that you can't do what you've been assigned to do. That's his job. One of my spiritual mentors, he always says, we talk about people who are scammers, and he was like, "Oh, that's their job. They're supposed to be scamming. That's what they're supposed to be doing." So people who are supposed to come up against you, they're supposed to tell you, "Oh no, you can't. Oh no, you're not smart enough. No, you're not good enough." And that's what comes against who you already are. It's trying to come against your identity. One goal.
Mm. So what I just heard you say, you said a lot. You said a lot. What I just heard you say, Miss Danita, was that if you didn't have anything in the area of where you feel probably the most confident come and attack you, then there's nothing there for you to fulfill. And I think that for me myself, I can only see myself going back to the idea of I can only see myself as the number two, right? I can only see myself as the number two, and a conversation comes up when were in Tennessee. When we were in Tennessee, and it was just me, you, and Coach, and you were giving me the understanding of knowing the different positions of people in my life. I want us to go over that because I think it's important, because it's also a reflection of how do I resonate with who I am in other people's life. And I think that also kind of could come against our confidence because we don't know who we are, and we don't, our position, thank you, Holy Spirit, our position helps us understand the assignment and what we need to do in the assignment. That was like one of the best things I could have learned from you in the time I've known you. Do you recall what I'm referring to?
Yes, yes, I remember that morning. So what I find is a lot of times when, especially women in ministry, when we have something we love, we put our whole hearts into it. Like we go all the way in. And so sometimes we're looking for the whole of our joy right there, right? To in our service and connect it to who we serve, how we serve in our church and that kind of stuff. And if you don't have the protection of the layers of people who are supposed to be assigned in your life, you will get distracted by what God assigned you to do in one area and not fulfilled in other areas. So at the time, what I saw, I was like this budding young woman who's so passionate about ministry, so passionate about the things of God. I was like, "Oh, you need friends." I said, "You need somebody who like you can just totally be yourself, and like there's no holdback. You're not like pouring in. You're not looking up. You're just like, I'm a mess today, and like, do you love me?" And you also need mentors. Mentors see the best in you and they can pull it out and they can propel you forward because it's already there. Then you also need a voice that's a spiritual protection and direction, because what that does, it keeps your spirit in line with what the word of God says. So you absolutely need someone who can speak into your spirit. And then you also need someone who can challenge you. And they may not be your mentor and it might not be your coach, but you need someone who can look at you and say, "Oh no, Yeah, we need to do this A, B, and C because this is not excellence in your life, and I believe more for you, and I all of that. And even at the time, from a physical standpoint, you were going through a weight loss transformation. As soon as you got them other people in your life, boom, everything was gone. You were like so aligned because it was already in you to manifest those great things. But having the right people around you helps create even more greatness. And when we look for the whole of our joy just in a few people, what it does, it shrinks our vision for what God can do in our lives because we start to mimic the people we love. And that mimicking is good to a certain point because you're supposed to mimic as you grow, but then you don't get your own voice. And I'm so proud of what I've seen you gathering and creating your own voice in your own way, because if you were still doing what you were doing, you would never have gotten the opportunities that you had in front of you. And it's because you were bold enough to trust the Lord with your whole life.
Yeah. So to tag onto that, let me just make this very clear. I'm using what she has seen in my life as an example, not the conversation, because we're getting into the intelligence of Danita Scott, because I want y'all to know the oil that I've received and how it's helped me, because I think this is so important. So how do you know when it's time to transition from 2 to 1, the number 2 to number 1? And what does that look like?
Usually people who are number ones attract number ones to themselves, right? And so a person who, if you're serving a number one, usually you have number one qualities in you because you can see vision, you can execute tasks, you can create protection for that vision that you've been assigned to. You can expand teams. You have intelligence, you have direction, and you trust the Lord. So you already have all those things in you. And so one of the ways you know it's time for you to grow is that in what you do, that you're a master in it. It's easy for you to do it. And it doesn't take any courage for you to do it. And then number 2, usually what happens is that you start to feel like even though you're excellent and great at what you do and you love it so much and you can't imagine not doing it, God still calls to your heart for something greater. You still feel an itch and a burn. Or he can surprise and delight you and say, oh, now it's your receiving day. Because there are stories where suddenly you are promoted. If we look back in the Bible and we look at Moses and Aaron, when Aaron was still grieving the loss of Moses, God said, Moses, my servant is dead. So your past is dead. Everything you thought was going to be is dead. It's your time to rise. And so even though he was in a number 2 position, being prepared to be number 1, sometimes God needs to do it suddenly so that you move forward without hindrances of any kind.
That's...
Oh my.
Yeah, look, I was.
Oh my.
Desiree.
Nah, don't look at me.
Don't
look at me.
What you just heard, Desiree?
So what I heard her say is, and I hear this sometimes. You attract who you are, right? So if you are, like she said, if you are number 1, typically you're going to attract number 1s to you, but sometimes I think timing is perfect. And because when you begin to align with the call of the Lord on your life, he will place you in spaces and places to be able to cultivate you and to grow you and to prune you into who he's already called you to be, right? So that's why it's important that we understand our identity in him, because sometimes when we get in, and I can only speak for myself, the Lord has placed me in spaces and places with some amazing people, right? And when I got into those spaces, I'm kind of like, dang, Lord, I don't know why I'm here. Like, what I'm doing, I don't know why I'm here. But as I begin to just grow closer to the Lord, he just began to speak into me who I am and why I'm in those spaces. So if we prescribe the place that people are in our lives, it can not allow us to receive the full benefit of being in that space, right? So Jess and I, we talked like early on when we started connecting, we had an honest conversation like, I'm a little intimidated because I don't do this like you do this, right? Or I'm not like, I don't do this like you do this. But as we just begin to really do relationship and really lean into the Lord, we like, oh, I'm not supposed to do it like you. You know what I'm saying? Like the Lord has called each of us to a thing, but he's also called us into something together. And if we didn't take the time to really allow the relationship to do iron sharpening iron, right? That's exactly what that 1-in-1 does until the time that the next person is supposed to step into the space that they're supposed to step into. So this is when she was talking, I was like, oh Lord, all right, I hear you.
No, that is Y'all are talking so good. Like, I think it's important, even if at this time, what's coming up is like the person that is serving as a number 2 right now that's transitioning to number 1. I think for me, and I think I can speak to this, Miss Danita, and I need you to help us out because you got the sauce. You got the sauce. With how you've been able to help your clients define and get language for what it is they're supposed to do, because a lot of number 1s are multifaceted. Like they're not just good at one thing. So how do we settle on, have a focal point of, this is what I mainly offer, right? This is what I'm known for. This is what I can do. And then be able to attach a course with a price tag on it. You get what I'm saying? Like, I think for me, I would love to do a course. I would love to, do something, but then I'm like, should I do this because they doing, like, it's sometimes I just be like, I don't know. So help a sister out.
So one of the simplest ways, whenever I'm working with new creators, I ask them, what do people ask you about all the time, right? So Jess, I'm sure people ask you, well, how do you start a podcast? Or how do you do this? Or how do you... And that is the answer to their question. So the more you show up in your excellence, what you love to do, people will start asking you, well, how do you... I mean, they may be asking you, how do you run a business full-time and work full-time? How do you, Desiree, come up with so much creativity and innovation? And you can show up as a podcast director. You can also show up as you can also show up in ministry. You can show up as a photographer. You can show up as a hairdresser. And when people start asking you questions, that's where your wealth is. Their questions about your gift and your assignment, that is where your money is. It's that's right good. There, because that's what they're willing to pay for. We live in an instantaneous world now, right? You can Google anything, but are you Googling directions that are going to be accountable for what you're great at? Are you Googling or ChatGPTing directions to help enhance your brilliance? The other day I was working with one of my clients and they were wanting to create something new. And in that creation process, I was asking them questions like, okay, so we've done this, we've done that, and we've done this. Have you done A, B, and C? Chat doesn't know them, so it can't ask that question. It thinks it does, but it can't. Because if someone doesn't know you, they also don't know your strengths. Jess, it would be so fun and easy for you to help people to be able to develop and create community. You're so great at that. You're so talented and gifted and brilliant at creating community and being able to make people feel safe and feel good. There is more value for people being together now than ever before because AI cannot take the place of this conversation.
That's so good.
Man, you bring up a powerful point of like the relationship with AI. Like there's a lot of that. I think AI is good for what AI is good for, but I also think that there are a lot of people cutting. Maybe I shouldn't call it cutting corners, but replacing human connection with technical translation. And I think that correct me if I'm wrong, I would love to hear your thoughts on this. I think that we have found ourselves disconnected from even ourselves in the human transaction because, and that kind of defeats confidence as well. It's like, well, AI is able to do it quicker. AI is able to resolve the matter and give us an idea or open up, these different avenues and streamlines of thinking. And it's like we're competing. Like it's really, you get what I'm trying to say, Desiree? Like it's like we're competing for our value. What are your thoughts on that?
So I think it's a powerful tool. It's absolutely necessary. It's not going away. So we can't not embrace it, but we have to understand its purpose and its portion and why it's there. It is not there to compete or compare with any human relationship. It is not there to take the place of what human fellowship can do. And it's also, I think, going to drive people to be more connected on a personal level because without it, like, who are we as humans? Mm-hmm. And so it's so necessary to use the tools that are available to us, and I'm 100% for them, but not to replace them with connection, not to replace them with belonging, and not to replace them with just being able to have an honest conversation with someone who's not going to always agree with you, or
Yeah.
not see the best in you or the worst in you. That it can't see the worst in you in the way that someone else can.
Yeah.
So that's
Most
why I think
definitely.
what you do is even more important right now, especially in the society that we're walking towards.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's some distance. It's definitely some distance. So I want the people to get to know Danita, and I'm curious. Let's start here. How did you even get into the space of saying I want to help people build courses? Is that your first? Was that your first entrepreneurial leg, or have you always been a course builder?
No, I hadn't. So when I became an entrepreneur, it was really out of necessity. So in 2013, my dad started to get really sick, and so when he began to be really sick, I had to start taking time off from work. And so I had a boss, and she was really nice. I had never really taken any vacation. I think the last time I had taken a vacation was in 2014. So I had probably 150 hours at work. And so I took off 3 days. And on the 3 days I took off, I had all these calls from all these big people up top. My dad was in a coma in the hospital. And I was just like, when I came back, my boss was like, oh, yeah, you're going to have to take FMLA if you want to take more time off. I had probably 150 hours of vacation time. I said, what you not going to do today, tomorrow, or ever? It's tell me how I can spend time with my family when I have the time. So in that moment, I made the decision. I said, if my mom ever needs me, and she had never been sick in her life, I said, if she ever needs me, I'm going to be there. I'm going to be present. And so I decided for my birthday the next year to quit my job for my birthday, which don't do that. Unless the Lord tells you to
Disclaimer.
do it, don't do that. Like, you
Disclaimer.
can do a lot of other things with time. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't get so excited about the will of God that you quit your job for your birthday as a present. And so my mom was always very supportive, but she wasn't the kind of supporter where she was going to put her money with it. So she said, you can do anything you want to do, just as long as you don't ask me for anything. I said, okay. So, but shortly after that, my dad passed away. I moved back home to support her because she had been married for 50 years almost. So she just needed some support and some everyday things. And so once I moved back home to support her after I quit my job, I put God at his word. I hired a coach, and it was the cost of a car back then. Like, it was very expensive. And in that hiring, I had made no money back. Everybody else I knew, they had made their money back, money back, money back, money back. And I'm sitting up here like, what's happening? And so after just experiencing so much loss and so much feeling frustrated financially, I said, Lord, if you show me how to do this, I'll show your people. And so I reached out to a couple people that I knew, and I was already kind of on social media just a little bit talking about it. I had a class with 6 people, and one of the persons I counseled, she had a course, and I was like, okay, well, do this, and do that, and then tell me how it works. She did it, and in about 20 hours, she had made $7,000. I was like, oh, I think I know what I'm doing. And so within
Come on, fruit.
2 days, she had made $10,000. I was like, oh, I think I know what I'm doing. And so that
And you
gave me
did
the
that for free for
confidence.
her?
No, she paid like $100, like nothing, like literally nothing. And so it bore a business in her where she was able to impact so many people. And so in that opportunity, I had not done that for myself yet, right? So like I had charged people basically nothing just to show them. And so once I started working with people who already had audiences, they love being able to help people, and they just wanted to be able to help them at a deeper level. Then we just created systems around that to be able to do that. And it was so fun watching people see their dreams come true. One of my clients, she half followed my directions. I was like, do these 3 things. So I told her to make a list to reach out to this many people in this time frame. And she only listened to 2 of the 5 directions. Within 24 hours, she had made $4,324. And she was like, oh my gosh, what if I really listened to you? Exactly.
So do you remember are these lists cultivated for that individual, or do you have a consistent strategy that people adhere to when it comes to courses?
So, because technology has changed so much, and there is just so much opportunity now for us not to do things like we used to, you have so much help from like AI and technology. I'm not embracing it. But the core part of creation does not change. Just like God said, let there be light, there is a core part of creation. The core part of creation is understanding what you want to do and who wants to buy it. If you want to, create something that no one wants to buy, I'm not telling you not to create it. I'm just saying don't expect no money from it. So you have to be doing something that has a demand in the marketplace. The second part that's a pillar that's no matter what, someone has to want to hear from you, or you're going to have to make yourself available so that they can hear from you. Because if nobody knows you, they cannot buy. So that's core. That doesn't matter what. Chat cannot help you create that. Well, it can, but like you're gonna have to spend time, money, efforts, resources, regardless. Either way it goes. And then the next core part is being able to deliver value in a way that people can sustain and recreate over and over and over again. And so those things don't change. The technology, how you access people, whether you do it on Instagram, in person, through products and services, that will always shift. But if you don't have something that somebody wants, it doesn't matter how smart you are. It doesn't matter how brilliant you are. Your first part is, what am I creating that somebody actually wants?
Mm-hmm. You brought up the demand of a thing. How do we measure that?
So demand can be measured in multiple ways. One of the most simple ways, I was talking to someone the other day, and she wanted to create a curriculum for, she's a pastor, and she wanted to create a curriculum for prayer for another church. And I was like, well, I wouldn't create the curriculum. She was like, why? I said, I would get the people first, because without the people, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And so she was like, okay, well, I have about 40 people who follow me and they say they want something. I said, that's way more than enough. That's way, way more than enough. The first time I made a salary in a day, I made it on an email list of 200 people. So you don't need a lot of people. You just need people who are willing to hear from you and who want what you have. So it's not about quantity. It's about service in that way. I really view sales as a service unto yourself, as a service unto the community. And when you are serving, you cannot lose. And so in knowing that service part of sales, that if you're serving from a heart of excellence and you're charging what is in the marketplace, people will buy. And even now when things have changed so much, there are people still absolutely willing to buy things that align with their values, their goals, and their means, and that help them to reach it faster.
That, I think my brain has like 5 questions all at the same time, because you're talking good, and I'm really learning. So I will say this, Ms. Danita, in the world that we have been, it seems like a lot of people have courses, and it's almost, from what I hear other people talk about, right? Because the courses I've been through have been pretty solid, right? But I've heard some horror stories.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Right.
Do
you have one?
Well, not necessarily a horror story specifically, but because I'm still growing and learning myself, I learned that I'm a knowledge junkie, right? Meaning I don't know enough, so I got to go get the next course, next thing. So I've purchased quite a few things, and some of them were really have helped, but then also some of them was like, yeah, you just put this together just because to get the money kind of thing. It was no really substance kind of in there.
So to that part, Ms. Danita, how do we, and you taking new clients? Because we want to, I know.
Listen,
look, we are you taking, so we can, when we put this out, it can be clear. We taking new clients. Okay, cool. So what's the one thing that you tell your clients that is a must so it won't feel like that for the consumer? Like, I'm here, but I feel like I'm left hanging. I feel like I am, like I won't even just say it wasn't no value, because it could be value there, but it's almost like, but this was a money thing, and I could have YouTubed this, and I could have, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think in my mind, for me, people ask me about podcasting. Okay, I know people ask me about podcasting, but also people ask my mentor about podcasting. And YouTube has thousands of people that talk about podcasting. So in my mind, I'm like, I'm trying to wrap her around the idea of adding myself to the pack.
So that sounds like the gift and calling that God has given you. You're not trusting it enough to move it forward in how He's assigned you to do it, because there's no one that can do it like Jessica. There might be thousands of people out there doing it, and they are your competition, but they're not you. They don't have your heart, they don't have your spirit, and they don't have your results. Because you have to think about it. Without all the fancy things people said you were supposed to have, you were able to capture the attention of national guests. Who does that? That's something that people want to know. How do you do that? How do you stand up for your calling? And how do you go on national platforms and get national guests? That's something you can do that other people can't. And so in that, it's a trust issue. The biggest thing that you're seeing out there now is that because there was an age where everybody was seeking information, they still are, that you saw so many opportunities for people to put up slop, and it barely worked. And so, you're like, none of this stuff works. No, that's not true. There are people out there who are hustling, like there will always be people who are hustling, and there are people out there who are sincere, like you, who are willing to change people's lives and ready to change people's lives and are not going to hold back. And so a lot of times people who are sincere, they're quiet, and the people who are audacious, they're loud, and we think they're the same people.
Ooh.
And they're not.
That was good.
Ooh, that was a bar.
Oh my. Oh my.
Oh, that was a bar. That was a bar, Mr. Danita. Mr. Danita be having bars, bro. Mr. Danita be having bars. So so you've been an entrepreneur, like you said, for a while. You've made a lot of people money, but you brought up the fact that there was one instance to where you used your email list of you said 200 people to make X amount of money. Can you walk us through that process and how you got there? Because I think there's a disconnect, and we just recently talked to one of our good friends, Steve, about how believers see money and their relationship with money, and not valuing ourselves enough to attain or obtain the financial wealth that God has available to us. So can you walk us through that journey?
Yeah, so it was actually really simple. So what I did was I told people I had a challenge, and I let them know about the challenge. I had about 150 people to sign up for it. And whenever you have signups, everybody don't show up. No, I think I had about 200. Between that, I had 200 people on my email list, but of course I advertised on social media, so I had about 200 people to sign up. So about 100 people signed up, and it was a 5-day challenge. And I think maybe about 65, 70 were on my close. And then 30 of those people said yes to the offer that I had. And so in that process, you're supposed to scale down because everybody's not interested in you. Some people are just curious, and that is natural. It's the same thing as like when we're thinking about dating, getting to know people. You might go on a lot of dates, but everybody is not your type.
You right about
so
that.
Just because you're talking to somebody doesn't mean they're the one, right? They just might be the one for today. Hello, dinner tastes good, but I don't want to be with you long term. And so that's a good thing. And I think sometimes, especially as Christian entrepreneurs, we want our friends to be the customer. Don't do that. Focus on who wants to buy from you, and it shouldn't be your best friend. Or if they support you, fantastic, but that is not their role. Their role is to be your friend.
Yeah.
And so just being able to let people know that you have something and let it be really clear and let it have results, then that allows open doors for reality. The thing is that the methods will constantly change. Now, I don't see people doing as many 5-day challenges now. That was really something that was in the, really heavy up until probably about 2024. You saw it all the time. Not now, I wouldn't do that. I probably will offer a really great easy product that someone could get instant value from, whether it was a lead magnet or a 1-day experience or something else where they could get value, and then say, hey, if you love this, you'll like this next thing that I have. And so being able to even to micro teach and micro deliver results is very powerful now too. But there's other ways. Maybe your customer doesn't want micro results. Maybe they want you to do it for them. Maybe they want you to come in, help them curate their podcast look, their studio, their lights, their vision, and then you charge them the big bucks.
Shout out to
you charge them
Media.
the big bucks to finish the assignment. Yeah, so it can be different ways to achieve the same goal, but the goal is being able to serve through your gift. And of course, you're always going to have charlatans, but when you've been assigned from the Lord, when we hold back, we're really just holding back on him. We're not really even holding back on ourselves.
Jesus. She said charlatans.
But also she said, you're really not holding
Exactly.
back on yourself.
You're holding back on him.
You're holding back on God. And that's a scary thought, to hold God from what he designed. Like what you say that he has lordship over.
And I've done that. I don't want to pretend like I'm some kind of perfect Christian. I ain't never made that mistake. 100% I have held back on God, because even the first time I made, so what I brought before the Lord, my mom had gotten sick. She had gotten cancer, and I was working a contract job where I was having to travel all over the country. And I said, God, I cannot do this anymore. I was like, I am done with, being gone 21 days a month. I can't be here for her like that. I was like, I need you to do this today. I need you to pay my salary for a day. And he did. I was in the middle of working that job. I was doing my challenges. So I was doing all the things that I needed to do. But I remember when 28 people had signed up, and that was, I don't know, maybe $34,000. I was like, God, I can't do that. Then 36 people signed up. I was like, God, like I asked him to stop the funnel. I was like, I can't serve 40 people. How will I do it on my own? When he was just preparing me to hire somebody, and I was afraid. So I was limiting the power of God, and we do that. So I don't want to pretend like I've never done that or I've never experienced that. I most certainly have. But at the time, I just didn't even understand what he was trying to birth in me. And so I got nervous. But even in that nervousness, God is a redeemer and restorer, because my nervousness never stopped his grace and his mercy. And I did not intend to be talking about my business, because I had told the Lord I wanted to do something else. Like, we were just having this conversation very recently.
Oh,
like,
really? So that's why you looking like that
yesterday. Yeah, I'm talking about yesterday. So then I'm gonna have to make sure before this broadcast is up that every method of how people need to reach me is up. I'm like, God, you forced me back into a corner. Are you serious?
Wow.
Whoa. He said no. That's interesting though. But because Miss Danita, what I think, and this is what I want for you, because I think that you have this unique ability of allowing people to see themselves in the structure of what God has called them and making it make sense to them. Like talking to you, like y'all, I talk to her off camera. Like when we talk. And so when I talk to you, I find myself seeing me again. Like sometimes we can look in the mirror, we can be with ourselves all the time. But when people give you language for who you are and help you with the strategy of you, that's a whole nother thing. And I think that's a course within itself. Like that's a course within itself. So I don't know why you were thinking about not doing it, but
not thinking about. I had gone ahead and filed paperwork. Listen, we're not doing this anymore, guys. Let's do something else. You
but
know
why
what, guy?
though?
I want to be a travel influencer. I want to do something else. Why not?
Do you feel like it's time?
So this conversation is opening me up.
Okay. See, this why I love God, Desiree. Because I was sitting here like, I said, God, why are we here? Why are we here? Why are we talking about confidence? Why are we talking about transitioning the course? Because Miss Danita has a testimony with herself. Like you've heard her say she's, both of her parents have passed and gone away. I navigated through the mother, when your mother passed away. I knew you then. You're a single woman. You're in your 40s.
Yes, and I was like, oh, Jess, we could talk about being single, being in your 40s, being fabulous. That's all the things I wrote about.
You listed that. Baby, the Lord did not say anything about, he does not care about your thing. I won't say he don't care about your singleness. He's talking about this course. And what if your man is ready to pay you right now? And you missing out on it, Miss Danita.
I'm hollering.
So by the time this airs, we need Bay to show up on this course.
He just needs to know I'm expensive and everybody pays. So
okay.
It is what it is.
Everybody.
That part. I think that is when Desiree and I started doing Increased Media, right? Which is geared towards entrepreneurs that want to have a virtual long form content experience that we can manage from anywhere. So we have people Pensacola, Texas. Like we don't just cover the region of Alabama, right? Because we haven't found nobody to do that. But it's okay though. We learning it. That's not our audience. So we struggled at first. Desiree, you can correct me if I'm wrong. We struggled at first with the idea of charging as much. And then we realized when we started charging, we was like, we don't think we're charging enough. Or offering, the value of the offer needs to increase. You know what I'm saying? Why do you feel like people run into that issue of charging or offering a high ticket, having a high ticket offer?
So I think it's confidence. Can you deliver all the things that you assigned? Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of times unbelievers have a lot more confidence in what they can assign. So years ago, I had a coach, and she was my writing coach, and she had specialists that would come in. And one of her specialists, the only thing this guy did, and he had a multiple six-figure business, was make sure that your emails could be open. So that's all he worked with. He didn't care if your copy was trash. He didn't care if you said anything that made any sense, as long as they opened it. That was his deliverable. And he charged so much money to make sure your deliverables could be operated with excellence. What I'm saying is, I think a lot of times we devalue the excellence that God puts on the inside of us, and it has to start somewhere. So it's totally fine that you and Desiree are marketing yourselves all over the nation, and people can't wait to hire you, and they're so excited about you managing what you're managing for them. But what's really cool about that is that now you know what your value is. You can always increase it, and you can always just trust the Lord with the process.
That's so good. She wants us to hear her so bad, Danita. She wants to be a part of the conversation. She really does.
And she's not dressed. She don't have her hair done. She's not part of this conversation. Like, you should see what she's doing. She's doing a whole color project over here. Like, it's a whole experience.
It's a whole experience. Listen, being auntie is really that thing. Like, I would pick. I'm glad I'm getting auntie experience before mother experience, because, and I pray, that one day I shall be a mom. Like, I would love to birth my own children. I'm open to adoption as well, but I would love to birth my own children. I think it has really taught me tolerance, my tolerance. And then also giving me language, because if I was a mother probably 10 years ago, my kids would probably hate me. I just have to be honest with that, because I was not the woman I am today. Like, I would have been fussing, cussing, tan butt up just for because that's what I knew. You know what I'm saying? So being auntie is real fun.
It's a great practice, and then I get to give her back because her dad's coming home in a little bit, so he's gonna take over this. You know what I'm saying? Not my problem. If I call her mama right now, she'll come get her, so it's fine.
No, it's good. It's good, Ms. Danita. I think that this can't be your only time here, because I think there's so much more that we have to discuss. But I feel like this is what we were supposed to talk about today. And so I would love to hear from Desiree on her thoughts about what we've discussed for part 1 of Danita. Because you think she should come back?
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. We got to have Miss Danita back.
Yeah. Okay. In the flesh too.
Live.
Not
in
a
color.
Yes, that's going to be even more fun. Yes, absolutely.
Yes. No, I've really enjoyed this conversation. The one thing that really stuck out to me that I am marinating on is when she said confidence begins with the seed, right? Because we think that when we get an instruction or we get a thing that we have to go full force in the thing, but the Lord is just like, I just need you to take this one step. And so with confidence, that's what the confidence is. It's like you heard him, and then what is the next best step to take towards that thing? And as you continue to move, you can look back and be like, oh man, look at that track record, look at this, look at that, and your confidence at that point has built. Like you've journeyed enough. And I'm just kind of looking back at my own life, and I'm like, there are some areas there's still areas of opportunity, yes, but there are some areas that I am very, very highly confident in. Yeah, because I've taken the step towards the thing that God has told me to do. So this was really good, and the conversation about courses too. I was just having a conversation with one of my volunteers at church about something that I'll check in with them from time to time, and I said, well, how can I pray for you? And she's like, oh, so I can obey quicker.
Yeah.
more quickly or whatever that may look like, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, and so when Miss Danita said, hey, we're not the part about us not almost kind of like it's not us, we're almost like it's the lack of confidence in God, or we're not doing it towards the Lord kind of thing. That stuck out with me too, and I'm actually gonna I'm gonna write that down. I'm gonna send that to her, and I'm gonna say this is from Miss Danita Scott.
Danita A. Scott. Put the A on there. Put the A on there and respect it. And respect it.
Thank you, Miss Danita.
Big A, not the little A. Miss Danita, no, I think that if we go too far deep, I think I won't execute. And you're big on execution. That's one of the things I see that you do with your clients. And let me just tell you what I've seen, what I've witnessed, what I've digested. Miss Danita is not one that does not believe in execution, nor does she want to set you up not to be able to execute.
Yes.
And so I think this has to just be one, and then the next is going to be build off this one. But I think this conversation really assisted with our mantra for the year, and it reminds us build or build, right? When we talk about not even just building the course, but building the confidence to expose yourself. That's what a course is. Exposing your ideas, your intelligence, the excellence that God has embedded in us. You literally say, build the confidence to expose the hand of God. Ooh, thank you, Lord. We're building confidence because that's what he told Joshua. He said, be bold and courageous.
Yep, multiple times. And we have to do that. We have to have that in spite of the adversity, even when we're being like experiencing adversity against ourselves, like what we're hindering ourselves, the fear, the low self-esteem, the self-hatred, the self-doubt. That's all adversity to self. That's all planting seeds of dysfunction for self. And so you clocked the T today, Miss Danita. Miss Danita, you clocked the T. And so as a tradition, Jess Ask, I want to give you the floor. I know we've talked about confidence courses, but if you came in with anything on your heart, because we know you hear from the Lord, the floor is yours. I want to give you the final words, and we're going to close this thing out.
Well, you know what? I just want to tell your audience and just thank you and Desiree so much for allowing me to be a part of your platform, being a part of your experience. And I'm so proud of you for what you continue to do. And I'm so proud of you for keeping pressing forward towards the things that the Lord has assigned you to do. For everybody who's listening, it is not about the thing that you think you need to do to please the Lord, because he's pleased with you because you're here. It is about trusting what's on the inside of you to move forward. And that trust allows so many other things to come to you. There are things that are designed to come to you that you can't even dream of yet, but because it just takes that seed of confidence, that seed of trust, that seed of devotion, that seed of I'm willing to try. And what that can do for you is open doors that you could never have imagined. Every time I've trusted the Lord and allowed him to lead my path, I've seen things that I was not asking for. And in seeing that, there's so much grace to the hearer. There's so much grace to grow into. And so don't second guess your power. Don't second guess your anointing. Don't second guess your assignment, because only you can do what you've been assigned to do. There's no one else on the planet who can do it like you, because that's how you were built. You were built as one of a kind, as unique. And so your ability to do your assignment is all that matters. And just trust that you can do it. Like, I promise you, even if you think you can't, the reason why you think you can't, I'm reading a book right now. And one of the things it mentioned, the author said, is like, don't ask God for things that you can do yourself. Trust him and put his reputation on the line for things that only he can do. So if he's asking you to do something that's impossible, that means you're in great company. And I believe in you. And I can't wait to see you doing it on the other side.
Man. Ooh, that was a way to end that. Ooh, can we bless the Lord?
Yes.
Will there be one? Will there be one? No, Desiree, that was good. That was good. That just blessed me. When I rewatch this, I'm going to take notes, because there was a lot of things that Ms. Danita said that resonated with me, and I feel like I have my marching orders. So we'll know, but it's gonna have to be out of TEDx though. I'm not taking anything else on. I'm not. But Miss Danita, we gonna talk. We gonna talk. But you guys, we have Miss Danita's information in the chat, in the description. Hit her up if you need a course to be built, or you need somebody to lay you out. The woman of God is available and accessible to you, okay? But I love you guys. I hope come in and let us know what you got from this conversation. But until next week, until next time, remember, life could be much more simple if you just ask.
What's up, you guys? We hope you enjoyed that episode. If it resonated with you, make sure you like it. Now, if you thought about somebody as you were listening and you think they could benefit from it, go ahead and share it with them. Sharing is caring, right? And you know we're here every Thursday. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the notifications when a new episode drops. So until next week, guys, peace.